is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, first, United States Central Command has activated Project Freedom to escort commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz, with Donald Trump framing the mission as a humanitarian push to unblock global shipping. The United States Navy says it has escorted the first vessels through Iranian lines, but Iran has dismissed the claim as pressure propaganda. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has declared a new area of control in the waterway, warning any ship defying Iranian directives will face serious risks. Russia and Ukraine have announced a temporary ceasefire to mark the 81st anniversary of World War II's end, while the Kremlin warns any provocation could trigger a massive response. Back home, Rodante Marcoleta has criticized Martin Romualdez over corruption remarks, questioning the timing amid intense scrutiny of the former House leader. Chavez Singson has accused Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of links to a flood control scam, claiming evidence of billions in misused infrastructure funds. And finally, Jannik Sinner is demanding the Madrid Open as he chases a third Masters 1000 title this season. I'm Prince Tripoli. Newsline World starts now. For first story, U.S. Central Command has officially activated Project Freedom, a massive military initiative. U.S. President Donald Trump is framing this initiative as a humanitarian gesture to help free up ships stuck in Hormuz. More on this from Jane Cudita.
Project Freedom aims to support commercial vessels to freely transit through the Strait of Hormuz. In partnership with the Department of War, the initiative was directed by President Trump, who framed it as a humanitarian gesture to help ships that are running low on supplies. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper underscored the essential importance of the forces to regional security and the global economy. Their support will include guided missile destroyers, over 100 land and sea-based aircraft, multi-domain unmanned platforms, and 15,000 service members. Tehran's response was immediate and defiant. Ibrahim Azizi, head of the Iranian Parliament's National Security Commission, warned that any American interference would be considered a breach of the truce. In a post on X, Azizi dismissed the move, stating the Persian Gulf would not be managed by what he called Trump's delusional posts. Iranian Major General Ali Abdullahi further warned that any foreign force approaching the strait would be targeted, though CENTCOM maintains that no U.S. Navy ships have been struck. This has been Jane Cudita, Global Citizen Correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
The U.S. Navy says it has successfully breached the Iranian blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. Under the banner of Project Freedom, U.S. Central Command claims guided missile destroyers escorted the first commercial vessels through the restricted waterway since the outbreak of hostilities. However, Tehran has swiftly rejected the account, labeling the American claims as pure propaganda. MJ Mondiar tells us more.
Vessels were seen moving through the Strait of Hormuz following a bold announcement from U.S. Central Command. In a statement released on X, CENTCOM confirmed that U.S. Navy destroyers are now actively operating within the Gulf to restore commercial shipping lanes. According to the U.S., 2 American-flagged merchant vessels have successfully transited the narrow choke point and are now safely in open waters. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, blasted the claim, calling it outright lies. Iranian state television reported that the RIGC Navy fired missiles and deployed combat drones against a U.S. warship recently. Tehran claims the American vessel was violating maritime norms and was forced to turn back after the IRGC issued what it called a warning shot using live munitions. The Fars news agency had earlier reported that Iran hit a U.S. warship with missiles, but CENTCOM denied the claims. Iran has maintained that the strait remains closed to unfriendly nations, a list topped by the United States and Israel. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been MJ Mondeja, SMNA News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has characterized the ongoing conflict with Iran as a mini-war, claiming the total destruction of the Iranian Navy has secured U.S. interest without denting domestic economic growth. Kai Villan reports.
Trump offered a blunt assessment of the 6-week-old military operation against Iran, comparing the timeline to decades-long conflicts in Vietnam and Iraq. Trump labeled the current standoff a mini-war, citing the speed with which U.S. forces neutralized Tehran's capabilities. The president claimed that in the first 2 weeks of the campaign, all 159 ships of the Iranian Navy were sent to the bottom of the sea. Trump even joked that he was upset with his commanders for sinking the vessels rather than capturing them for U.S. use. Despite the regional tension, the president highlighted that the U.S. economy remains booming, with the Dow and S&P hitting all-time highs, even as the military continues its detour to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
Like, we have a war right now, and we're to 6 weeks? They said, what's taking so long? We were in Vietnam 19 years. I call it a mini-war because that's all they are. They don't have a Navy anymore. Think of it. They had 159 ships. How many do they have left, Kelly? Out of 159, take a guess. She's very smart. 0. 159 ships. In the first 2 weeks, 159 ships. I actually got very upset. I said, how quality were the ships? They were very good. I said, why didn't you just take the ship? Why do you have to send it to the bottom of the sea?
Accompanied by Energy Secretary Chris Wright and SBA Administrator Kel Loeffler, Trump also addressed fears of a global energy crisis. While many analysts predicted oil would skyrocket to $300 a barrel due to the conflict and the naval blockade, Trump noted that prices remain stable around the $100 mark. He credited the administration's energy dominance strategy and predicted that prices would drop very substantially once the operation concludes. The president concluded by asserting that Iran is now a country with no radar, no anti-aircraft equipment, and no leadership, claiming the first and second tier command structures have been effectively eliminated.
Can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. We hit all new highs, and I said we have to take care of business because we can't let that happen. So we did a little detour, and it's working out very nicely. They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft equipment. They have no radar. They have no nothing. They have no leaders, actually. The leaders happen to be gone also. Everybody was wrong. They thought that energy would be at $300, right? $300 a barrel, and it's like at 100. And I think going down, and I see it going down very substantially when this is over.
As the U.S. maintains its maximum pressure campaign, the White House is signaling that it will not back down until the nuclear threat is permanently neutralized. For the administration, the mini-war is a calculated necessity to ensure that the current market boom isn't interrupted by what Trump calls a World War III scenario under the wrong leadership. Reporting for Newsline World, Kai Villan, SMNA News.
Tehran has officially redrawn the map of the world's most vital oil choke point. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has unveiled a new aerial control in the Strait of Hormuz, warning that any ship defying their naval directives will face serious risks. Rahil Parba has the story.
The IRGC's official media outlet SEPA News recently published a redrawn map of the Strait of Hormuz, marking a massive control zone that stretches from the Iranian coast to the UAE port of Fujairah. While Iran claims this isn't a change in management, the message is clear. The Guard Navy now dictates who moves through these waters. According to IRGC spokesman Hussein Mohebi, commercial ships will be granted safe passage only if they coordinated directly with Iranian authorities and follow designated routes. Any vessel violating these protocols, he warned, could be stopped by force. The reality of that threat was felt today. Reports from Fars news agency claimed that 2 missiles struck a U.S. Navy frigate near the port of Jask after it allegedly ignored Iranian warnings. This escalation is a direct response to U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement that the U.S. would guide stranded ships through restricted waters using the Project Freedom initiative. The standoff has been simmering since February 28th, when Iran began restricting vessels linked to the U.S. and Israel following joint strikes on Iranian soil. This has been Virgil Parba, your global citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Up next, Russia and Ukraine have announced a temporary ceasefire to mark the 81st anniversary of the World War II's end, while the Kremlin warns any provocation could trigger a massive response. Rodante Marcoleta has criticized Martin Romualdez over corruption remarks, questioning the timing and intense scrutiny of the former House leader. And Chavin Singson has accused Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of links to a flood control scam, claiming evidence of billions in misused infrastructure funds. More news when Newsline World returns.
Isang pindot lang, pwede kang maka-jackpot. Mukhang masaya at easy money lang. Sa murang halaga, pwede ka na tumaya sa online gambling at e-casino apps. Mayroong sabong, slot machines, mahjong, poker at iba pa. Kailangan mo lang ng smartphone, e-wallet at internet. Pero ang aliw na ito, unti-unting nagiging bitag para sa mga Pilipino. Lalo na kung ang paborito mong artista o influencer ang mukha ng app. Mas madaling makaengganyo, diba? Parang safe naman kasi may kilalang mukha. Pero sa likod ng ngiti, sugal pa rin ang itinutulak. At syempre, mas madali ring itago ang pagkalulong sa bisyong ito. Walang pisikal na kasino o pasugalan, walang kaharap, walang accountability, kaya't mas lumalala ang adiksyon. Dagdag pa rito, maraming online gambling apps at walang regulasyon. Sa likod ng mga makukulay na interface at papremyo, nakatago ang problemang bumabalot ngayon sa bansa. Ang pagkalulong ng maraming Pilipino sa online gambling. Pwede maglaro kahit saan, kahit kailan, kahit sino, bata man o matanda, pwedeng malulong. Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang pagkakalulong sa online gambling ay nagdudulot ng matinding stress at anxiety, pagkakabaon sa utang, pagkawasak ng pamilya, pagkawala ng tiwala sa sarili. At tulad ng ibang bisyo, may mga senyales ito tulad ng hindi makapagpigil kahit walang pera, palihim na tumataya, pagpapabaya sa trabaho, pamilya o sarili. Sa bawat taya, may mga taong tunay na kumikita, mga malalaking negosyante at investors na negosyo ang bisyo ng masa. Para sa kanila, perang pumapasok lang ito. Pero para sa ordinaryong Pilipino, kabuhayan at relasyon ang nauubos. At ang masakit, tila matagal itong nahayaan. Hindi ito naging prioridad ng mga nakaupo sa taas hanggang sa sobrang lumala at halos naapektuhan na ang buong komunidad. Ngayon, sa dami ng nalulung at sa laki ng pinsalang naidulot, saka palalong umugong ang mga panukalang batas para higpitan ng online gambling. Gaya ng pagbabawal sa paggamit ng e-wallets para tumaya, pagtaas ng minimum bet, mas mahigpit na identity verification, pag-block ng mga illegal na gambling sites, at bawasan o ipagbawal ang mga ads na target ang kabataan. Maaari itong magmukhang laro lang, pero sa katotohanan, isa itong sugal sa kinabukasan. Ang kita na dapat sa mga pangunahing pangangailangan o ipon na uubos sa sugal. At sa mundo ng online gambling, mas madali kang matalo kaysa manalo. Huwag hayaang sugal ang magdikta sa iyong buhay. Isang paalala mula sa SMNI.
And we're back. A rare moment of diplomatic alignment, both Russia and Ukraine have announced a temporary ceasefire to mark the 81st anniversary of the end of the World War II in Europe. While President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukraine will halt operations starting Wednesday, the Kremlin has issued a dark ultimatum. Any provocation during the celebrations will be met with a massive attack on the Ukrainian capital. The Russian Defense Ministry confirmed that President Vladimir Putin has ordered a total ceasefire for May 8 and 9. The move intended to honor Victory Day, the Soviet Union's defeat of Nazi Germany. The Kremlin's annual military parade is set for Saturday, but the celebratory tone is underscored by a heavy threat. Moscow warned that any attempt by Ukrainian forces to disrupt the commemorations would trigger a massive missile strike targeting central Kiev. Meanwhile, Zelensky followed suit just hours later. In a statement on X, Zelensky announced that Ukraine is implementing its own ceasefire regime starting in midnight on the night of May 5th to 6th. Meanwhile, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov confirmed that security measures for the May night parade will be at an all-time high. Russian forces prepare for what they call necessary measures to protect the events.
Речь идет об оперативной обстановке. Естественно, и, собственно, вчера в контексте выборов, кстати, президент говорил об этом. Киевский режим, который каждый день теряет земли на поле боя, сейчас пустился вовсю в террористическую активность. И поэтому на фоне этой террористической угрозы, конечно же, принимаются все меры по минимизации опасности. Парад будет, но давайте не забывать все-таки, что в прошлом году это был юбилейный парад Шарков.
Meanwhile, the death toll from Monday's small plane crash in Belo Horizonte, Brazil has risen to 3 after one of the survivors succumbed to their injuries at the hospital. Marfoswell reports.
Tragedy struck the Silveria neighborhood of Belo Horizonte on Monday afternoon when a light aircraft crashed into a 3-story residential building shortly after takeoff. Initial reports confirmed that the pilot and co-pilot died instantly upon impact. However, medical officials at João the 23rd Hospital confirmed Tuesday morning that one of the 3 passengers rescued from the wreckage has also passed away, bringing the total fatalities to 3. The single-engine aircraft had departed from Pampulha Airport at 12:16 p.m. local time, bound for Sao Paulo. Moments before the disaster, the pilot reportedly alerted air traffic control of technical difficulties. Footage from the scene shows the aircraft banking sharply to avoid taller structures before slamming into the building's stairwell and falling into a parking area. Fortunately, no residents inside the building were injured, though the impact caused severe damage to several apartments and forced an immediate evacuation.
A aeronave veio colidir, com uma edificação. Tivemos aí de forma confirmada 5 vítimas, das quais 2 fatais e 3 que foram conduzidas em estado grave, para o Hospital de Referência de Belo Horizonte pelas equipes do SAMU. Da parte do Corpo de Bombeiros fizemos um trabalho prévio de garantir a segurança do local para que pudéssemos fazer a retirada das pessoas que ainda habitavam na edificação, estavam na edificação, e também garantir a entrada segura das nossas equipes para poder fazer o devido trabalho de salvamento e segurança da cena. Fizemos um trabalho também preventivo em relação à aeronave, no sentido de inertizar qualquer risco relacionado ao combustível.
Residents describe a scene of chaos and slow-motion trauma, while the building structure has been deemed stable with no immediate risk of collapse. Those living on Lazir Pereira Lima Street remain shaken. Firefighters worked through the night to extract the remains of the flight crew from the twisted metal of the cockpit, a process described as delicate to preserve the scene for aviation investigators.
Não caiu a ficha ainda. Eu ainda estou enxergando tudo em câmera lenta. Ainda estou assim, em pleno estresse pós-traumático. Nem estou conseguindo falar direito. Nem raciocinar direito.
The Aeronautical Accidents Investigation and Prevention Center has taken over the probe into the crash. Investigators are focusing on the reported engine failure during the takeoff phase. This incident adds to a troubling trend in Brazilian aviation, which recorded over 150 light aircraft accidents in the previous year. As the community mourns, the focus remains on the 2 surviving passengers who remain in stable but serious condition. Reporter for Newsline World, Almar Forsuelo, SMNI News.
Vice President Sara Duterte says the International Criminal Court is unlikely to drop its case against former President Rodrigo Duterte, urging her father's legal team to prepare for an inevitable trial. Carlo de la Peña reports.
Vice President Sara Duterte recently visited her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, at the International Criminal Court's detention facility in The Hague, Netherlands. According to the Vice President, the former President is in good spirits and in stable health.
He looks well, he looks healthy, and wala naman siyang mga problema.
Following the ICC's decision to dismiss the jurisdiction challenge filed by the former president's camp, VP Sara said that the family has already accepted the reality of the situation. She added that the process appears to be moving forward and that they must now prepare for the trial.
Well, I accepted it as it is. Discussion na rin naman namin yun ng mga abogado, no? Now, we don't see any way that the ICC will let go of the case of President Duterte since isa na lang ito sa dalawa na ICC cases, no? So we don't think na they will let this go. This would really go to trial, and the best way to move forward is to prepare for trial.
In relation to the impeachment cases against her, VP Sara said that if the public is saying she will be impeached, she just let it be. But if it is the legislators saying it, she says it should be questioned.
But it is different siguro kapag congressman na yung nagsasabi or senator na yung nagsasabi. Kasi magtatanong ka, bakit sobrang sigurado ka na tapos na ito?
The House Committee on Justice has already approved the articles of impeachment and the accompanying committee report against her. In its latest hearing, the committee declared there is probable cause for 2 separate impeachment complaints to move forward. Meanwhile, VP Sara reiterated her intention to run for the 2028 elections.
I'm already a presumptive candidate because I declared my intention to run for the next presidential elections. We can only pray that there will be a presidential elections on 2028 and it will be honest, orderly, and peaceful.
VP Sara stressed that she draws her strength from the support of the Filipino people.
Sa totoo lang, iniwan na siguro ako lahat ng mga kaibigan ko na politiko, pero hindi ako iniwan ng mga kababayan.
For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
Air travel in eastern Visayas remains uninterrupted following a powerful magnitude 6.1 earthquake that struck eastern Samar on Monday. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, or CAAP, has given the green light for all regional airports to continue normal operations after a thorough safety assessment. Following the tremor, CAAP immediately conducted damage assessments across major aviation hubs in the region. Technical teams inspected airports in Calbayo, Borongan, Catbalogan, Hilongos, Catarman, and Ormoc. CAAP deployed aircraft rescued and firefighting, or ARFF units, along with airport security personnel to conduct rapid inspections of runways and terminal buildings to ensure passengers' safety. The authority assures the public that they are in constant coordination with airport managers and local government units to maintain security and ensure that flight schedules proceed without delay in the affected areas. The agency confirmed that all 7 facilities sustained no damage and remain fully operational. Meanwhile, Senator Rodante Marcoleta criticized former House Speaker Martin Romualdez over recent statements regarding alleged widespread corruption in the country. Sheena Turner reports.
Senator Rodante Marcoleta took aim at former House Speaker Martin Romualdez during the Senate's resumption of session on Monday. He questioned Romualdez's video statement on April 21 regarding widespread corruption in the country. According to the senator, it was not merely an admission of awareness about the issue, but also an indication that Romualdez could reveal the names of his colleagues allegedly involved in corruption.
Is this a veiled threat, Mr. President? Is this an admission of knowledge of broader wrongdoing? Or is this an attempt to leverage information as a shield against accountability? If he indeed has knowledge that could implicate others, then he has a duty, not a choice, to disclose it fully and immediately. Truth is not a bargaining chip.
Marcoleta further said that truth-telling in corruption issues should not be used as a form of intimidation or bargaining tool, stressing that it is an obligation to the Filipino people. He also urged officials not to play the victim and to avoid diverting the issue into politics. According to the senator, the main issue is the alleged misuse of government funds for flood control projects.
If you create, or worse, deliberately tolerate, as the Speaker, an environment where anomalies are allowed to fester and flourish, where corruption becomes blatant and normalized, then you are not merely complicit. You can be also a mastermind.
The senator also stressed that accountability should not be selective when it comes to politicians or personalities allegedly involved in the flood control scandal. Marcoleta earlier called on the chairman of the Senate Committee to invite Romualdez to the hearing to identify the possible mastermind and his alleged accomplices in the corruption issue.
Kapag pikit mata o tikom bibig ninyong hinayaang mag-ugat at mamayagpag ang anomalya, hindi po iyon inosenteng pagkukulang kabilang.
Denied being the mastermind behind the widespread corruption in government and pointed to Senator Cheese Escudero and Zaldico as allegedly being behind it. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has convened a high-level meeting in Malacanang to finalize the nation's readiness for the upcoming 48th ASEAN Summit. As the Philippines takes center stage as this year's chair, Marcos is pushing for a unified front to address the region's most pressing challenges. Marcos Jr. presided over a strategy session with top government officials to ensure a seamless hosting of the 48th ASEAN Summit and related meetings scheduled to run from May 6 to 8, 2026. The meeting focused on the Philippines' strategic priorities as the current chair of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. As the top of the president's agenda are three pillars: strengthening regional energy security, ensuring sustainable food systems, and enhancing the protection of all ASEAN citizens. He underscored the necessity of a whole-of-government approach and instructed all agencies to coordinate closely to ensure that the country's programs and policies are implemented effectively and efficiently during the chairmanship. This hosting comes at a critical time for the bloc, as member states look toward Manila for leadership on economic recovery and regional stability. Meanwhile, explosive new allegations are rocking the Marcos administration, as former Governor Chavit Singson directly implicates President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in the alleged flood control scam. MJ Monjar tells us more.
Former Ilocos Sur Governor Luis Chavit Singson said that he had lost hope on testifying before the Senate to reveal what he knows about the alleged anomalies in flood control projects under the Marcos Jr. government. Because of this, Singson held a press conference where he directly disclosed to the public who he claims is the mastermind behind the anomaly.
Nagsalita si Zaldico kinasuhan. Ngayon, nagsalita na nakakalata na dahil tinuturo lahat ng mastermind si Speaker Martin Romualdez. Nagsalita. Sinabi niya yung mga tao, public works and highways, and executive ang involved yan. Ibig sabihin, BBM ang involved yan. So, from the very beginning, sinasabi ko na siya mastermind. Sinabi niya, executive, liwanag. Ang executive, BBM.
This follows recent statements from former House Speaker Martin Romualdez, who pointed to the executive department as being behind the alleged kickbacks in flood control projects. The former House Speaker also said he is ready to reveal what he knows and will not remain silent or fall alone.
At Presidente, bakit di nagsasalita? So, ibig sabihin, nag-aregluhan na, nagtakutan lang. Dahil lalaglag din na si Martin, kung ilaglag niya, sasabihin niya mastermind.
Singson said he also sees a pattern against those who speak out within the government. According to him, no one is spared, even those considered close allies of the president.
Ginamit lang si Zaldico at saka si Martin Romualdez. Nag-uusap yung magpinsan. Ngayon, nahalata nyo, Ombudsman, DOJ, kinakasuhan kagad yung mga nagsasabi totoo.
Malacanang earlier denied the claims of Zaldico linking President Marcos Jr. to the alleged flood control kickbacks. According to Communications Undersecretary Claire Castro, President Marcos is the first in history to initiate a large-scale investigation into projects under his own administration. She said the president would not order such a probe if he had something to hide. Singson believes he was not invited to the Senate investigation because he would directly implicate the president in the alleged anomaly. He then also challenged the ombudsman to file a case against Romualdez.
Inahamon ko sila na sagutin nila ito. Bakit hindi nila sagutin yung mga sinasabi ni Martin Romualdez na involved ang executive? Executive, si BBM yun eh. Bakit hindi nila sagutin? Bakit hindi tuloy nakasuhan? So nagsisinungaling ang boss bang hindi niya kasuhan si Martin Romualdez?
Malacanang has yet to issue a new response to the latest statements of Singson. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been MJ Mondiha, SMNI News.
A photovoltaic project in St. Juan Uyghur Autonomous Region has reached a major milestone in green energy generation, producing 15 million kilowatt hours of electricity. The Zero Carbon Initiative, developed for a desert highway, is part of efforts to expand renewable energy use in northwest China. State-owned energy giant PetroChina confirmed the achievement, highlighting the project's role in reducing carbon emissions. The installation harnesses solar power in the desert environment, where abundant sunlight makes it ideal for large-scale photovoltaic systems. Officials say the project underscores China's continued push towards sustainable energy and low-carbon infrastructure development. In sports update, Jannik Sinner remains focused on self-improvement as he closes in on after historic milestone in men's tennis. Meanwhile, Chiba Jets locked in a key playoff advantage after finishing strong in the regular season. Carlo de la Peña tells us more.
Fresh off his latest triumph in Madrid, Jannik Sinner continues his dominant run after securing a fifth straight ATP Masters 1000 title, an unprecedented feat in the sport. The world number one now turns his attention to the Italian Open in Rome and French Open in Paris, where he has a chance to complete a rare sweep of all Masters events and Grand Slam titles. Despite the growing buzz, Sinner insists records are not his priority, emphasizing discipline, daily work, and personal growth as the driving forces behind his success. With the chief rival Carlos Alcaraz sidelined, the spotlight intensifies as Sinner faces a wide-open field, including top contenders like Alexander Zverev. Backed by a strong coaching team and continuous improvements in his all-around game, Sinner remains locked in on consistency, aware that even the slightest dip could allow the competition to catch up. As he chases history, the Italian star keeps his mindset simple: focus on the process, not the records. Meanwhile, Quentin Milora-Brown and the Chiba Jets secured the second seed in the East following a 96-87 win over Altieri Chiba to complete a weekend sweep in the B League. The Jets finished with a 42-18 record, tied with the Gunma Crane Thunders, but claimed the higher seed after sweeping their head-to-head matchups. Gunma narrowly defeated the Sendai 89ers 87-86, with AJ Edu contributing to the boards despite limited scoring. Elsewhere, Dwight Ramos helped Levanga Hokkaido stun Alvar Tokyo, while Kai Soto led the Koshigaya Alphas to a dominant season-ending win. Kiefer Ravena and Ray Parks Jr., however, ended their campaigns on losing notes with their respective teams. With momentum on their side, the Jets now head into the playoffs holding a crucial seeding advantage. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
The stage design of Miss Universe Philippines 2026 is earning widespread praise for its creativity and visual impact. Meanwhile, pop star Britney Spears has pleaded guilty to reckless driving following her recent arrest in California. Andrea Santos has the latest show buzz.
Fans and pageant enthusiasts took to social media to commend the production's modern and elegant setup, highlighting its lighting, structure, and overall aesthetic appeal. Many noted how the design enhanced the candidates' performances, providing a dynamic backdrop that elevated the competition. Organizers aimed to showcase Filipino artistry and innovation, blending technology with cultural elements in the stage concept. The positive reception underscores the pageant's continued commitment to delivering world-class productions on the national stage. Authorities said the incident occurred on March 4th at around 9:30 p.m. after multiple 911 calls reported a driver speeding and behaving erratically on the road. According to the California Highway Patrol, the singer was seen braking suddenly and swerving between lanes while driving her BMW. She was taken into custody and later charged with driving under the influence, or DUI. The development comes after Spears reportedly spent time in rehabilitation following the incident. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Andrea Santos, your citizen correspondent, bringing you the latest showbuzz.
And before we end, may we be inspired with the words of the sun. Start strong, finish strong. Quitting is not an option. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God in my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Prince Tripoli. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.